Hello, and welcome to another episode. This time, Northstar Games have very kindly sent me a box of Cultist Knights to do a review on. You get 10 to a box, and they come with bases. Having a closer look at the sprues, they're essentially the cultists, but better armoured, representing your elite troops, and while they're aimed at Frostgrave, these are great fodder for kit bashing and other games as well. It's also one where you mix and match with the parts in Cultists 1, 2 and 3, and you have a lot more variety available. Even just the amount of spare heads you get, it's worth mixing these in with irregular troops. So you can make all sorts of knights, captains, and flesh out your Frostgrave warband. So, annoyingly, this is basically the kind of guys that I made in the last video, so I'll try and do something a little bit different, and not paint them up brown this time. So the way I like to do these sprues is I clip out everything, making sure any two-handed weapons are kept together. Then I just dry fit the parts around, until I get some characters I like. Then after assembling the first sprue, the second goes in the bits box. So, as I said, these bits would have been great for the project I did a few weeks ago, when I was making some kind of deserter brigand types, but given how versatile they are in games, that's no bad thing. You also get a nice mix of Western and non-Western weaponry, and it's nice to see that kind of representation, and there's a definite Eastern European flair to some of these bits, such as the glaive, and the sort of Magyar archer shield. Annoyingly, they do have integrated bases, but these are easy enough to remove with a pair of clippers. It's also nice to see kits come with bases, as that is not always the norm these days. Using Revel plastic glue to connect everything together. I like to start by connecting the torsos to the base, so you don't end up creating characters that are aiming at the ground or pointing downwards by accident. Then after dry fitting parts so you get some poses and characters you like, I stuck them together. Leaving the head till last, because the positioning of the head can have a huge effect on the finished product. I don't always bother with ranged options, but I felt like I'd treat myself today. And there's a lovely archer shield as well, so I wanted an excuse to use that. The heads are probably the standout part from this kit, and you do get a really lovely variety of them, ranging from more uniform ones to ones that are a bit more unhinged. For the basing, I use a standard mixture, so Vallejo ground texture paste, some small aquarium rocks, and some fine gravel scatter. This one from Jarvis Scenics. Smearing on the ground texture paste first, then pushing a few of the larger rocks in, tapping them down, then a sprinkle of gravel over the top, again pushed down with the end of a tool. Once the basing was dry, I primed them up using black gesso. After the black gesso, a dry brush dark brown over the entire model, including the base. So a sort of zenithal brown highlight. Then, because I didn't want to paint them entirely brown, I decided to opt for purple, reds and pinks instead, so they would really stand out against the brown regular troops. Before I get into the bright colours, I picked out the metallics using a dark silver colour. I used the P3 metallics from Privateer Press. Then, with the basic values established and the metallics filled in, I opted for some lighter blues to pull out the main part of their clothing. This would also contrast nicely with the more kind of burgundy and red colours I'd add later. So starting with a mid-blue, leaning a bit towards a turquoise, I put in a base layer, as well as a dark purple, alternating between the two areas of cloth. Then taking more of a pink magenta, I applied some highlights onto the purple, Using a mid-brown, I then highlighted the leather, such as the gloves and the boots, as well as some of the hafts on the weapons. A lot of the arms and legs have bandages, and to avoid these going too much into the brown and the beiges, I opted to paint them red, so they'd be more of a decorative item than real bandages, although I guess they could be heavily used bandages. Let's not think about that. Going for a lighter blue, I then topped up the blue colour on the cloth. Moving back to the bases, I topped up the rims with dark brown. To add some shadow and darken the metallics down, as well as the cloth, and dirty it up a bit, I took watered down tenebrous brown from AK Interactive and applied it mostly on the lower 50% of the model. Because a lot of the helmets and weapons have a sort of extra details, I took a bronze colour and filled in the trim, such as the cross hilts on the swords and some of the banding on the helmets. Then taking a light brown, I dry brushed over the top of the base, as well as the hem of the cloaks, so you get a bit of weathering and a bit of travel dirt. Because despite these people having fancy clothing, they are clearly not in a fancy environment. Then as a final touch, I took some tiny tufts and stabbed them onto the bases. With the tiny tufts in place, these guys were done. So, opted for a non-brown colour scheme, and they still came out a little bit brown, but that's fine, it'll mean they'll blend in with the other guys. So they look a bit like the regular kind of brigands who have raided some fancy man's house and stolen all his nice clothing. So they look a bit weird when there's 5 of them in a row, but when you have 1 or 2 mixed in with a regular warband, they stand out quite nicely, and look the part. So yeah, really quite a nice kit. And I'm very happy that Northstar sent me a copy. But anyway, thanks so much for watching, and I hope to catch you next time.